Welcome to Criminality, the podcast we started because we love reality TV, we loved crime, and we wanted to make a show about reality TV and crime. I'm Rebekah.
I'm Melissa.
And you... you will wait till I say your name. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Rebekah. How are you?
Really couldn't be better.
Yeah?
Yeah, the show gives me life.
Mm-hmm. I know.
It makes me happy I don't have a newborn or two toddlers, and respect to everyone listening who does. It's a beautiful time.
Wonderful, yes.
But just don't need to go back to it.
No, a friend of mine, Carly, so sweet. She has 3 small kids. The youngest, or the oldest is like 6, I think. And they've all had like some flu kind of thing. And I was
it's brutal.
Yeah, you can put yourself back in those moments and you're like, it's
visceral.
Yes, it absolutely is. It gave me chills.
There were scenes in this episode of PolyFamily where I could hear 2 toddlers in that screamy cry.
Yes.
That's not a real cry. Mm-hmm. And then a newborn's cry along with it. And I was like, my body does not respond well to that. It's not like, oh, but it's a baby. I'm like, nope.
No, I know. It's like teleporting myself into somewhere different.
Yeah.
Where's Raina? We're going to hang out.
Yes. Give me Raina or give me nothing.
Exactly. So we are going to be recapping episode 3 of PolyFamily. By the way, at the end, I'll give you a little bit of tea that has come out on the family. Turning this... It's not great, but it's coming into more of the criminality part. This is more of the criminal
it was
part.
Just a matter of time, just have faith. Yeah. It's like, this doesn't have any crime, but we want to do this. Well, just
give it to TikTok. They are going to find it.
They're going to find it.
And I appreciate
good things come to those who wait.
Absolutely. So this episode is called Who's Your Daddy? Which the answer is...
Could be the show's title.
The answer is Sean. But we learned from last week on the previous leads, we see that Alicia is wanting to maybe do some pumping to see if she can help breastfeed baby Quentin. And of course, we see Sean on the couch with Tyler with their argument where nobody's really looking at each other and Sean is just firing on all cylinders, mean as can be.
Yeah.
So we see that we are in Lebanon, Oregon. That's where they actually are, is Lebanon. So 2 hours from Portland, which we will visit in this episode. We see Taya and Alicia in the kitchen. Taya is making a bottle. Alicia's asking Taya, were you and Sean able to talk about this text, this infamous text?
Here we go again.
This is where I was like, I could not do this. I could not relitigate these situations with 3 other people over and over and over again.
Exactly.
It's too much. It's criminal as well. Taya's saying, no, I haven't really talked to Sean. I don't necessarily want to talk to him about this text. And if you remember from last time, there's this text. Taya and Tyler bring baby Quentin to the doctor. They find out his blood type. They're all in this family poly chat. And Tyler texts not thinking, the blood type of the baby. Sean does some Googling, figures out it's not his. And nobody wants to know who the father is. Again, I come to you and say, we know who the mother is. Why do we keep doing this? It makes no sense to me.
The way you pointed that out last week blew my mind because it's just so obvious, and yet it hadn't occurred to me. So, but they're the people. So why didn't it occur to them?
So much did not occur to anyone in this episode. Tyler is number 1 on that, and I'll get to that. So we hear it from Taya on the couch. She tells this whole story like I was just saying, and she says it doesn't even cross our minds that the blood type could indicate paternity, talking about Taya and Tyler. And Taya and Sean are type B, which and 2 type Bs can't make an O, right? That was the whole thing.
Right. We got a genetics course, which was cool.
We did. And I was like, again, by the way, have you learned?
Still haven't found
me either.
No. Wait, okay. Let's put this on air. Assignment for us.
Okay.
Find our blood types, remember them, write it down and remember it, and report back.
Oof.
Well, we don't have to share it online, but let's just share that we know it.
What are people going to do? Steal my blood? What if
I don't know? Yeah, I don't know why I'm being protected. I'm like HIPAA. I don't know.
Baby Quentin's blood. We're good. I think we're protected.
Okay.
Unless it's a really rare one, and then I'm going to make some money off of this. Okay.
Okay.
So, so Taya says she knows that Sean is upset about this. She doesn't want to talk to him about it, but she knows he's upset. We're in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, Taya says yes. She says, "Guess what?" Turns to Alicia. boob or bra. I honestly couldn't tell, but they did not blur it out. If it was a bra, it was like the nude color. So I could not tell what was being shown to me, and said, my milk came in. And Alicia did what any normal person would do, which was to go, eh! Like when she...
What timing?
It was like such a weird, like...
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't have anybody I would have been comfortable doing that around, like slinging it. Take away the camera crew in there. I was not going to sling anything out.
Sling.
I mean, that thing was slung out of there. I've just never had enough to sling anywhere.
Slingable content.
No. And so she's like, it's like a fountain, which I also do remember those days. And Alicia's saying, she says in response, guess what? Like in the same, fun way that Taya said it, my milk didn't come in. So I was like, oh, Mary Brown.
So I confess that because you were doing the first half, I listened more than I watched. Like I was doing stuff while it was on. And when I first heard, guess what? My milk came in, I thought it was Alicia.
Oh.
And then I was like, whoa, like it's happening, but it didn't.
Well, I thought it until just by the way she said, guess what? Alicia did. And then she was like, here's some terrible news.
I know. I know. That was an interesting delivery.
So she's, saying, of course, it's fine, but I'll have to find a new way to have this relationship with Quentin. And there's other ways to bond with him. So, one that Taya said was you could just latch him.
I know. Which is like, seems unfair.
It seems mean. You're not a pacifier, a human pacifier. And I just, and that's just, what is the point? It's already bad enough when there's something there.
If there's no milk coming out, it's going to hurt.
You're going to get bit.
And that baby's going to be screaming. Then they go, or you could just feed him a bottle. And I'm like, yeah, how about that? Like,
guys, that was an option? What are we doing here? You've wasted 3 weeks of our lives with this. But I thank you for your service. So then the two talk about how, if it would have worked out, how weird would it have been if I was nursing for 1 minute in public and then you were nursing for another minute? And I don't agree with that either, because you'd be lopsided and that's just not how the way it works. And you would need to pump. Then you both have to pump on one side. Give me a freaking break.
Yeah. But they like to tell people about their
love to tell people
structure. So that would be a reason to do so. So I think that's why.
True. And we love to hear them tell about this.
Watch them. Tell them. Yeah.
Who's the lowest here? Okay. Taya says, Alicia is just as much as a mom as she is, even if she can't nurse, which is like this sweet thing. They actually seem to get along quite well. It's clear they've put the work into getting along and getting there.
Unlike
everyone else. But and also in that moment, I get kind of tricked in these kind of moments to be like, I do see the benefit of having another woman around. I mean, I say that all the time, but I get that. 2 men, no. Another woman, absolutely. This Alicia wants to help Taya, and you're just like, wow.
She's anticipating needs.
Yes.
And that's the whole crux of it, right? Like, I'm not going to say no men do that, but the informal data I've collected in my friendship circles over the years has been there are less men anticipating needs than there are women.
Absolutely. That's 100% true. That's a great way to describe it. So now we see a baby, one of the babies telling Alicia, go take a bath, basically. And I was like, I would actually be offended if a kid said that because they're always so honest.
Exactly. I would just be like, actually, thank you.
That's what she was like.
I have 3 adults here that weren't saying anything.
Exactly. We see Taya, changing baby Quentin. And immediately I'm like, where are these men? Like the 2 moms are immediately taking care of it, but that's neither here nor there. We see Taya walk in to the room with Sean. She is saying Sean's sprawled out on the bed, and she says right before this, Sean has a hard time talking about things. He's very upset. Tyler's quicker to talk about things, which I'm like, wow, yeah, we see that. We see why you're going after Tyler, but Alicia, girl, save yourself.
I know.
Oh, and then Taya goes, hey, Sean, how's your game? And I thought it was like a kickball game right? Like the way she said, "How's your game?" He said, "Oh, I'm just on my, I've been stuck on the same level for a few weeks, so it's kind of fun." I was like,
no, I missed that.
Game. Oh my gosh. Rebekah, here's the thing. No judgment from me. I am playing Block Blast, and I'm very, very good at it. And it's one of my favorite things, and I'm currently in a challenge. I love it. Would my husband even know I'm playing it? No. And I definitely am not going to discuss it. This is like a listening to something, or like, I don't know, just nonsense time.
Read the room, Sean.
It was, I'm like, she just cleaned a baby and another lady needs a bath. Can you just come out?
Maybe hit pause.
Stop crushing the candy. So Taya's saying basically since she's been poly, that she's learned the hard way that you can't get into other people's arguments. I can imagine that would be a
tough lesson, I bet.
Right, where you want to like speak on behalf of the other person if this person's not understanding it. But I also would not want to get involved in Sean's messy drama. So smart on her end. And she's saying to us, or she's saying to Sean rather, that she knows this whole thing wasn't malicious, but she feels bad that it hurt him. And he's saying, I'm not happy about how I found out and all that stuff. But then he says, first of all, he's on the couch this time, Sean is, and he says, throwing that text message out willy-nilly was a jerk move. Why would you tell him this? And then why would you want to know? Willy-nilly is one of my all-time favorite things to say. So I would like to herefore announce it will no longer be in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
It sounded offensive coming out of Sean's mouth. I don't know what you call it. Yeah,
it sounds, it's like, it has like notes of creepiness.
I know, and I liked it so much.
Willy-nilly. I haven't said that in a long time.
I say it too often. No more. That was it. So Taya asks him directly, so you're upset with Tyler? And Sean does say, yes, 100%. And he's like, he's saying, it wasn't that I found out, it's the way I found out. Like if I would have just known, and I'm not giving Sean anything, forget it. And Taya basically says, Alicia found out and it just didn't register with her. Which our boy, and by that I mean not our boy, Sean, says, yeah, but you're the biological mother, so I see why your brain doesn't go there. But I don't know why you wouldn't be irritated for him. But I was like, again, we know who the birth mother is. Why the heck can't we know who the birth father is?
Yeah. Since you've said it, it's like more and more frustratingly obvious that this could have been like nipped in the bud.
This could have been an email. And from the DNA lab that Ryan and Gypsy Rose are going to like every other week on
Instead,
Gypsy.
We're getting a weekly endless TED Talk.
It is a TED Talk. It's a biology lesson. It is a headache. Again, thank you, TLC. So Taya's getting emotional. She says, I am protective of Sean. Him having this reaction makes me sad. I don't think he's sad. I think he's angry. And she says, I feel bad. He didn't do it on purpose. Blah, blah, blah. Same stuff we've heard a million times.
Yep.
Then Sean says, out of nowhere, I don't even know if a producer asked him. He says, one time we all got in a big argument on a trip. I'm assuming this is before the other three kids. This is just Raina and other Raina. Or not Raina, should say.
Not Raina.
So Sean says, there's some kind of argument on this family trip. Tyler and Alicia get mad. They drive home with the kids. So it sounds like it's just those two. And drove home without Taya and Sean. And he said, if you can get that pissed off to leave from a family vacation and take the kids with you, that's pretty telling. Show of hands, who here thinks that Sean would not have done the exact same thing?
Oh,
he's just mad.
Would not have or would have. I don't know if I'm supposed to raise my hand or not. But yeah, he would have. He stormed out of dodgeball.
He stormed dodgeball, squeaking all the way out of there. Yeah, and so I was like, okay, come on. But I do love when they're on the couch by themselves and they like accidentally share secrets.
Yes.
That's what these couches are made for.
And that comes up again, Sean's point about that. And I think we learn like he's like setting, or the show is setting the stage for his real resentments.
Right.
But yes.
But let's not give Sean producer credits too, for goodness sakes.
Please.
And so Taya says, as a family, we've come so far, but every time something comes up, I'm fearful it's the thing that can tear their family apart, which, yeah, everyone is. And marriage relationships are hard enough when it's 2 people. You've got 4 people. That's just so many. That, to me, it's just more ways things can go wrong.
Yes, exactly. The variables are just
seems like
it feels exponential.
Yeah, it seems like you have more work. I just cannot imagine the benefits.
The relational work. Yeah.
I don't like people enough. So now we see Taya and Alicia driving. They're going to baby yoga class together. And Taya's saying the thing that all new moms feel really is just, you don't feel like yourself.
Yep. Like that was so real.
The postpartum, the anxiety postpartum, which is not something I was ready for. And she says, that's its own beast. And so Alicia's like, have you talked to the guys about, these issues you're having, like the postpartum, how you're feeling? And she says she doesn't really think they're in the headspace to hear about that. So now you can't even talk to the other 2 because they're moody with each other?
And they're not carrying the weight of the household the way the 2 women are.
Right.
And now we're protecting them from important information about the woman who just gave birth.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
I know. It's maddening.
It is maddening. Yes. And Taya says that she did talk to Sean about the blood type text thing. And Alicia said, I was upset about the information, about how upset he got. Basically, and I think we kind of heard this last week. Alicia said that when everybody gets that group text message, she's with Sean. And so Taya and Tyler are together, Sean and Alicia are together. She has no idea that Sean is upset.
Right.
Because he texts Taya and tells Taya about it. And so she's kind of like, what am I here for if you
left
can't?
in the dark.
Yeah. I like Alicia more.
I know.
Every week.
Same.
Alicia's on the couch. She said she and Taya had to put in this work and the guys really haven't done this. And Alicia says, they've had conversations together about not knowing the baby's biological father, but they've never had one about if they found out. Rebekah, how did they never find out the other 2? This is like day 3 and they know this one. The other 2?
Right. Well, we got to go with maybe announcing this blood type in the pediatrician's office is new. Because remember, you were like, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't think that's what it is, or it's because there's TV.
Maybe. But I feel like I don't know. That's a rough one to be like, we're going to tell you your baby's blood
I know.
type.
That's pretty low. I do wonder if it's just some new thing since I don't know, COVID? I don't know.
I'm going to go with you on that because it really is just... how did you not think this would ever come up? Yeah.
Because they have 2-year-olds. It's not that long ago.
Yeah. But unless everyone was just confused and brought the wrong babies to the wrong places. I could see a very Benny Hill situation where something like that.
They find out they're actually not any of their dads.
They brought all the wrong babies.
It's not hers either.
You're not the mom or the dad. Well, we don't know where this baby is.
Just little toddler imposters.
And poor Raina and not Raina are back there just raising all of them. Okay. So so Alicia's saying, she wants to support Sean, but she said that he keeps her at arm's length, which is very tough.
Yeah.
And she said that she and Sean don't talk about their feelings well. And this is when she takes it all on herself. And she's saying, sometimes I'm worried I don't come across well when I'm sharing my feelings, and then it doesn't get received well. And then I don't want to say it because then I don't want to be invalidated. I'm like, what is the win for Sean? He's actually a stay-at-home dad. He does not have a job outside the home.
Right, which totally slams my theory that he makes the most money because we learn later that maybe that's actually Tyler's
right.
role, but
so I'm like, how are you here?
But that bothers me too, and I'll tell you why later.
Oh, good. Okay. I mean, not, oh, good, it bothers you. Oh, good, I'll hear about it. So Taya says that Sean has to make an effort to open up to everybody. He said, this is not a personal thing against Alicia. He's not comfortable. He's been on his own his whole life and doesn't have very many people on his side. I'll get into that in a second. And Taya said, not an Alicia issue. This is a him issue.
Yeah.
And poor Alicia's saying, I'd rather not say anything than say something and it be a big deal, which I'm like, again, why do you have all this going on?
Relatable, though.
Oh, totally.
It's not good or healthy, but it's very relatable.
100%. I would speak personally on that. And there's some things that I just think it's not worth it. You're not going to understand. And this is why I have friends. Thank you, Rebekah.
Sting.
So real quick from Reddit, because this kind of goes in here. This is like my last little bit. We have learned, and I don't have anything to fact check this. Again, this is from Reddit, that Sean was married before. Remember, he's like way older than Taya, like 20-something years.
Yeah, and it's a birthday episode for Taya, which we're going to get to. She's only turning 29.
29!
29! She's lived so many lives just in this one marriage.
Yeah, it's very true. And he's been married, according to Reddit, maybe 2 other times. And you know how he hates how you hate his tattoos?
Yeah.
I read that he had his previous children's names on his arms and he had them tattooed over, and he either has I think he has 5 other kids that he left.
Wait. Is he the bio dad of those?
Yeah, he's the bio dad of those.
And he left them?
Yeah, the other 5.
And he's griping about access with these kids?
Yes. Again, this is all Reddit. I don't know, allegedly.
Speculation.
But he is old enough to have had several. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all have those moments where we feel like we're just juggling too much on our own, right? I mean, it doesn't take getting down to Jax Taylor levels of drama to realize it's time to ask for help. Even he knows that having a good, solid support system, whether it's friends, family, or even a therapist, makes all the difference. And let's be real, we all have our moments when we need that support. And I've seen firsthand how having a support system can really help make a difference. Therapy helps me unlock the tools I need to handle life's challenges, and it also empowers me to set boundaries, understand my emotions, and really be the best version of me. So whether you're dealing with everyday stress, personal growth, or anything in between, therapy can be a lifeline. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. It's fully online, so you can get therapy from the comfort of your own home, and it's super affordable. Plus, with over 30,000 therapists to choose from, you're bound to find someone who actually gets you. Whether you need help working through past experiences or you just want a safe space to talk, BetterHelp has a wide range of specialists available. And the best part, if you ever feel like it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists easily. No extra costs and no hassle. Whether you're already a fan of therapy or just curious, BetterHelp is here to make it easier for you to find the support you deserve. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/criminality today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/criminality.
Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns, and I just got an email from Acorns today, just before recording this, and it was thrilling to see how much I've invested since I started using the Acorns app over a year ago now. And I learned that April is Financial Literacy Month. That's right, they made a whole month reminding you to finally take control of your money. And the good news is you don't need 30 days. Acorns makes it easy to start saving and investing for your future in just 5 minutes. Truly. The better news is you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you got is spare change. And that's what I do. I've told you guys this before, but I connected my debit card to my Acorns account, selected the round up to the nearest dollar option. So every time I make a purchase that I was already going to make anyway, that amount of money is invested and given a chance to grow by Acorns. You can do the same. Sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who've already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/criminality or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/criminality.
Several other kids before he just gets with Taya, right?
Yeah, I guess they could be older too. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess I must have put that in there for that reason. Yes. So real quick, we get to see Tyler and his sister. We met her at the Sip and See. They're having dinner, and it's another person to talk to about this whole text message thing. Kelsey says she's a double dipper, talking about her food. And Tyler says, it's okay. We're related. We have the same germs, right? Does no one know how anything works?
Science is not a primary subject on this show.
I wrote, I think Tyler may be too dumb to have realized the blood work thing could be a problem.
Yes.
So Tyler's explaining the situation to Kelsey, says, about these texts and everything. And then Kelsey is interviewed outside and said, I knew Quentin was his because he and I have the same DNA, so I can tell when a child is similar feature-wise. What does that mean?
Just by looking at them. She's like blood type, schmud type. But that's my nephew.
But she has a superpower by being related to Tyler that she's like, that's one of mine. Like, everyone in the room could see the dimples and everything else on it.
I really enjoyed that for some reason.
So
it made me laugh. But yeah, it's a remedial science situation.
It is. She's asking Tyler if he and Sean have had a conversation, and he's like, I don't really want to, haven't really done it, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, that's actually a terrible idea. You need to go ahead and talk about it, get it over with. And so he agrees with her and says, yeah, you're right. And she's saying, does it bother you that you're not on the birth certificate? And he says, it doesn't matter. And it's one thing to say that, though, he said, versus testing this out. Because now it seems to matter a whole lot who's the father of this new baby. And Kelsey's like, how do you feel about not being on the birth certificate? We know in Oregon, you're only on the birth certificate. The father is automatically the mother's spouse. So even if she's separated, still counts as the father on the birth certificate. And Kelsey says in a one-on-one, don't love that. That's not great.
Yeah.
But that's, it's reality. And Tyler's saying, these are my kids no matter what. But like, again, great. Until it matters, until you guys break up, inevitably.
Which they
that's
say later in the show.
Yeah. Which I'm like, okay, so you already know it's a possibility. So why is nobody figuring out that this is really, you have to plan for those things. Like
right.
These kids are all involved. It's not their fault.
Yep.
So now we are back to seeing Taya, Alicia going to baby yoga with baby Q. Of course,
and a baby doll.
And a baby doll. And a random baby doll. It reminded me of, what was it, nursing class, lactation class or whatever? I did go for my daughter. Yeah. But I think I'm the only person that didn't bring a baby doll. I brought like a teddy bear because they were like, you can bring whatever.
Who has a baby doll?
All these freaks did. And I am there with a little teddy bear. And I was like, I don't know if this makes me the freak or you guys the freak.
That's true.
TBD. So we meet the yoga teacher who says, yeah, I knew Tyler before this. Then I found out that, they have this PolyFamily, blah, blah, blah.
Well, she saw them come together and then she saw the other woman come with the same man.
Right. So she knew that Tyler and Alicia were together. Then she saw Tyler and Taya together and we're like, what's going on? She finds out. And the producer, of course, says, would you like two husbands? And immediately she says, oh, God, no.
Oh, God, no. One is enough.
And so she's like, can't fathom what that's like. Not a fan. No, thank you. So they're doing the yoga poses. We see Taya is wearing that mama shirt, like how
just like Tyler did.
They have
I saw
matching
that.
shirts. Taya has the baby doll. Alicia has Quentin. They're just doing dumb yoga together. And I put that they seem to get along really well.
Yeah, they were laughing.
Yeah, they seem to it seemed genuine.
Yes.
Next, we're talking about Taya's birthday, and Alicia's like, hey, are you excited? Your birthday's coming up. And Taya, of course, as a new mom would say, is not super excited. I would like some downtime.
She's like 4 weeks out.
I know. And like, why does she feel this way? We have 4 adults in the house. I feel like...
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing something if this is supposed to be sold to me as something that's working. So Taya says on the couch, I'm turning 29. It sneaks up on me. And Alicia says, yeah, let's do something. You're turning 29. We'll do a big one next year, but you have to celebrate this year, which I thought was sweet. She said, you don't do the work. And she said it 2 different times, right?
Like you don't have to plan anything.
She said it at the yoga thing and she said it at the on the couch because that's exactly what happens, right? Like if this was maybe a different kind of relationship, then it would have been her, possibly her spouse saying, let's do something for your birthday. And then her being like, oh, okay.
I'll text everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I do love that about Alicia. She's very much on that.
She also said, you always go out of your way to make everybody's birthday really special, and we want to do that for you. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, and then said basically, if the guys have tension, don't worry about it. I'll make sure that they don't. They're not going to ruin your birthday. Again, you don't have to worry about work.
So there might be a beat or a scene between exactly where you left off and where I'm picking up, but I'm starting with the guys saying, yeah, it's kind of not the best time. Tyler's talking, and I don't know who he's with or if it's on the couch, but he's saying, it's not a great time for us to all get away.
Right.
The 4 of us But we, meaning me and Sean, need to suck it up because this is about Taya and her birthday. So the next scene is them packing to go on this like fun weekend getaway. They have this huge van, and it reminds me a little bit of Sister Wives.
Oh.
Well, no, the packing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just full chaos. Like, no one has anything. And I'm thinking, we are sure a family of 9, but half of them, almost half, are adults.
Oh, yeah.
Why is this mayhem? Then literally Alicia says, you'd think with more parents we would be more organized. And yet it's the opposite. And I'm like, to your point, this is on the like not selling side.
So far, I just have Alicia helping me with a baby as the only
anticipating needs and planning my party.
Perfect.
But again, kind of best friend sister role.
Absolutely.
Like, I've yet to see the upside. Okay. So who's got the snacks? It's just boring, just getting people in a car. So it's chaos. And they're like, the women are talking about, what were we thinking getting pregnant at the same time? It seemed like a super cute idea, but now they essentially have twins.
Right.
And they're 2 years old and they're little, energetic balls of energy.
Yeah.
So cute. And now they have a newborn. So they're kind of like, well, that seemed like a good idea. But they'll make it through. So then they're all in the car and they're tired and they're like feigning excitement for this trip is the vibe I got. Like, they're 4 exhausted parents. And when you have to go away for the weekend, but you have to bring your kids and like involve like a drop off at the grandparents, it really is like a buzzkill. I'm sorry, but it is.
100%. Well, I think Alicia said at one point something about, well, we don't have the stroller. That's why there's not so much. So then I was thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot strollers and gear, like all this stuff, like not worth it.
Right. And and they were talking about snacks because the grandparents don't have all the right snacks. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much work. So they're talking about, Taya's like, we're going to need shots later. And they're like, caffeine now, alcohol later. So they like want to unwind and have fun. So we learn they're going to Portland. As you said, that's where Taya's family's from. And that's where Taya and Sean lived before moving towards, what was the town? Lebanon. With Alicia and Tyler. So they're going to I also was like, Alicia has a laptop open on her lap in the passenger seat. Why?
I know.
What is she doing?
I was like, what work are you doing now, Alicia?
Reference any work. And I'm like, there's not a spreadsheet with a packing list because y'all didn't remember anything.
And too late.
Yeah, exactly. So she's just like looking like a boss, but wasn't really doing anything. And then we get an intermittent confessional scene where the women are on the couch and they're basically like, the guys haven't had this conversation yet. It's a bit of the elephant in the room, but they're definitely not going to do it on Taya's birthday. So they better just have fun.
Right.
Which feels like we already said that, but I'm pretty sure they said it again.
We've said it 85,000 times.
Yeah. And it's said and said and said. So they get to the grandparents' house. Now, this is Taya's grandparents' house who we met at the Sip and See. We met Grandpa at least. See her mom again, youngest mom ever. And there's just a lot of like love and warmth. Like the kids, Raina and not Raina, seem really happy to see the grandparents. Taya has a best friend named Will there, and there's just a lot of embracing, a lot of love. This is when like the energy comes up a little, and I'm like, this is really nice. Yeah. And Alicia loves the family too, and she just says there's so much warmth in this house. It's truly a safe space. I feel like they are my family. Yeah. And because of other tensions we have in our various families, Taya's family really has become like the hub of safety and warmth. And it's lovely. So it's chaos, there's like kids running around everywhere, but they've got presents. So they all sit on the couch and they present the little babies come with like a basket of gifts, and there's a hoodie and a candle. The little toddler licks the candle because of course they do. And then Sean, I guess it's like Sean's technical night with Taya, so he's like the first to go up and give her like a birthday kiss. And I'm just thinking, oh, is Tyler going to do it? And he does. He gets up and makes this big walk across the room to kiss her. And I'm like, kissing your spouse in front of your parents, like, I know people do it.
Yeah.
I'm not big on it.
Not
like,
him.
We did, but like, did have to do this twice. I just was so like secondhand embarrassed. They weren't.
No, they were into it. But I like the Sean and then the Tyler, I was like,
yeah, it's a little like territorial, right?
It's like counting kisses. And I'm sure they do.
I know, right? Then we learn, Taya says, I think it's Taya, when we're on vacation or on a trip, sleeping rotation remains the same. Calendar
smart
carries over.
Yeah.
So it's Taya's night with Sean. And then, as always, the guys will swap. The women will stay in place. it's a lot of bedrooms families have to accommodate them.
Yeah.
2 couples and then all the kids. So it's interesting. But Taya says it's fine with her family. Like, they're used to it. And that once her grandparents even said to her, "Who are you with tonight?" And then she says, and sometimes the kids ask too. And they think that's so funny.
Yeah.
I was just like, I guess.
I didn't want my parents to know that I was pregnant. How that could have ever happened.
Until the last possible moment.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. Please, nobody figure this out. Like, let's all pretend this didn't happen. The last thing I want is, whose room are you sleeping in tonight? That, to me, is like, no, never.
Yeah, it's too intimate. So Taya and Sean are in the bedroom, and they're talking about really missing being in Portland and how good it is to be back. They're so far away now that they need to do this more, that it's really hard, but it's worth doing more.
Right.
Then we go over and we, of course, in the other room, see Alicia and Tyler talking. And she's like, "Do you think we're going to be able to still have fun in spite of this tension with Sean?" And I don't know what he says, but in a confession, Alicia's like, Tyler is her safe space. He is her person. Right. Like, she feels like she can say all these things to him because of the way he responds. Right. And he is honest. And the producer says, "Is Sean your person?" And she says, "No, he's got his walls up," and they really can't talk very easily. And I think you said the same thing in the first half. Like, that came up again. Mm-hmm. So Tyler expresses that he's pretty nervous to talk to Sean, and that is genuine. Like, that man is like shaking in his boots.
He's not going to make you feel good about this. Like, you can come up to him with anything, and he's going to make you feel... He's going to make you scared. Just, I would hate to be a kid. I have a thought on that at the end, but I would hate to be one of their kids even trying to come up to him. They're not going to want to. You're not going to be their safe space because you see what these kids see. You know, they see what you're doing.
Big time. Yep. Alicia says, maybe this is the weekend to do it. Like, not on Taya's actual birthday, but we've got all the extra help with our parents and our family. We have this time. Yeah. Like, you guys can kind of go off and do that. We can manage the kids with the family. And so she's like, you know, we got an episode to make here. Right. We can't keep alluding to this conversation. We have to have it.
Will only get us about 10 more minutes of this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So finally, we get to the yacht tub scene, which, not going to lie, I haven't Googled yet, but I will find out where in New York I can get a yacht tub because I'm sure they exist.
Yeah, I'm sure. But then think of all the things people are doing in them. I don't...
They're hosed down with chemicals between...
Not enough. See if it comes up in the Diddy trial. If it does, it's a no for me.
Oh, Melissa, you've ruined it forever. Now I don't need a yacht tub. They were in a river too, not the ocean.
Yeah.
By the by. Okay, so they're excited. It's yacht tub day. And we learned that Alicia's like, Sean's actually really bougie and likes to do bougie things. And I was like, okay, the yacht is in the title, but I'm not going to go so far as to say a yacht tub in a river is bougie. No. But I mean, it's like a step above tubing. And then Sean's like, yeah, I like nice things. I'm like, then they're on the boat. I mean, a couple of them are in sailor hats.
Yes.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. Tyler brings a bottle of champagne. There's spraying. And I don't know. These scenes are rough.
It is very awkward. I don't want people to see me anywhere in life, just in general. I don't like being out in front of people. And so the last thing I want is to be in a hot tub with 3 people and other people seeing me in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of
crew. Tattoos.
Oh, no. This is just
a lot.
For shame. For me, I could not do this. Nothing to do with bathing suits. Just like,
for me,
being
that
too, but being just like the one floating in the
everyone
like looking and pointing and
yes.
What is this?
And you're obligated to like wave. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tyler says, this is not about me. This is not about me and Sean's issue. It's about Taya being celebrated. We'll deal with our stuff later. Again, they're just really like driving this point home. Like, every person has said it multiple times.
I feel like it gets way worse the longer they're waiting, and now it's become an issue to being like a yacht size issue, a real yacht size issue.
Right. This was merely a sailboat, and now it's a yacht.
It was merely a yacht tub, and now it's a yacht.
Yeah. So Sean's like, hey, we need a hot tub at home. And everyone's like, yeah. And she's like, remember when we had one in our first house and we had naked hot tub nights? And then naked hot tub nights get said 3, 4, maybe 5 more times. Yeah. Each time worse than the first. Yes. And okay, this is the visual that I was referring to.
Okay.
Possibly offline. One random tattoo on Sean's chest. Okay. Do you remember what it said?
No, I don't.
It was a word horizontal in like typewriter font, and it's just the word absolutely in all lowercase. To which I say, what my actual genuine response was, absolutely what? And it came out like, jealous of what?
Yeah.
your fake leather pants? Like, I Suttoned the crap out of it. But like, really, what is that tattoo? And
do you think of him as an absolutely guy? Like anything you say that he's just like, yeah, absolutely. No.
Exactly. He's such a no. Mm-hmm. He's such a X.
You know, it'd be great.
Maybe the back says not.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, he's such a noper.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with the naked hot tub, Alicia's like, we've all seen each other naked. So like, what is the big deal? Who wants to wash their swimsuit every night?
I don't think you have to wash your swimsuit every night if you're getting in a hot tub. I don't think that's like that is not what's keeping you. You just want to be naked in a hot tub. It's not like,
exactly. You don't have to
not like, oh my gosh, guys, we've got laundry now. No.
4 swimsuits. It's just going to take us down. Yeah. Who's got the time? So Taya kisses both guys because it's her birthday, so they kiss. Then she tries to kiss Alicia, and Alicia's like, rejects her. And that's awkward. And Taya says that they do flirt, but the problem is Alicia's straight and Taya's not. She's pansexual and is just attracted to the person. So she feels like they don't really align and that's really something missing in her life. She's like, I have this amazing family and marriage and life and children, but I am missing a romantic connection with a woman. So they're definitely setting up some plot for later that she's going to be seeking a partner. So it's the next scene and Taya's birthday's over. So everyone did the thing that they all talked about a million times, which was like not have the conversation and just make sure Taya is loved and celebrated on the yacht.
And just letting everybody sit in like warm soup water and like an awkward. I will ruin that for you. It looks like a
soup water. It's
Y
enough
infection
said.
waiting
it's
to happen.
Enough said. Mm-hmm. You're right. It's disgusting. I am a monster for even thinking about it. So we get to finally the scene where Tyler's at a restaurant in a booth waiting for Sean. And he's got a beer and Sean joins him and it's just silence. Mm-hmm. They are just looking at the menu for a while. And Sean is like, is this guy ever going to talk? And so Tyler just doesn't want to initiate the conversation. Right. But finally he does. And I don't know who says this, but I think it's Tyler, but I have in quotes the whole blood type combo.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of them say, we have to have the whole blood type combo. And I just thought, this is what it's been reduced to. This is so weird. So Sean's like, I'm hurt. I'm angry. We discussed this. It feels really crappy to receive that text, and you should know better, and you should have thought before you sent it. What the F is your problem? And Tyler's like, dude, I didn't know. He says what we know, which is like, he didn't realize it was going to be an indication of that. And he said, you don't need to parent me. We are grown men. Let's have a conversation. To which Sean says, maybe if I was parenting you, this wouldn't have happened.
Ooh, could we call back to those 5 kids that are not under his care right now and see what they think about his parenting skills?
It's like maybe you've got a lot of pent-up parenting energy because you neglected yours. I mean, allegedly. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know nothing. So I hated that.
Yeah.
And he is just so condescending. Forget the kids from another marriage. He's so condescending. It was so gross. So he also says in passing, finding it wasn't biologically mine and you being so casual about it. So he definitely said it when referring to the baby, which, look, I'm not going to read too much into that, but it wasn't like she was still pregnant.
Right.
Like, it's born.
Yeah.
It's a
baby
boy.
Q,
anyway,
if you would.
Exactly.
Have some respect on his name.
Exactly. So he's like, how could you not think it was a malicious thing to do? And he's like, what about you being malicious with the whole Raina thing? So finally, they're going back to their first issue that they buried and never dealt with, which was that whole parenting thing. If you guys didn't watch the show or listen to us, we addressed this on the previous episode. There was like a difference in opinion on parenting Raina when she was being grounded. And Sean is like, you don't play by the rules because you work so many hours. So when you want to see the kids, you do whatever you want because you feel like you're entitled. And he doubles down on the whole parenting thing and says, I had to parent you in that moment, or like, it wouldn't have happened. And so then Sean gets into like, I think the deeper wound, and I don't say this to draw sympathy, but he is like, there's a little bit of like your kids versus us. And he's like, you've never explicitly said these are our kids, but there is that feeling. So the real issue comes out that he feels like he has no parental rights over the children. And if this whole thing ends, and he's kind of referring to the
right, he's
foursome,
reading the room now.
Where does that leave him? And he tells Tyler, you don't have to worry about that. Like, you're their kids. And he's like, right, but you're on the birth certificate as being married to Taya. And he's like, doesn't matter. Biology trumps birth certificate. Like, you could have that changed if you prove your biology. And I suppose that's true. So then, for anyone keeping count at home, Sean's like, I'm down to only 2 of the kids out of 5 possibly being mine. But they very well couldn't be.
Right. Oh, yeah. I think
likely even.
Yeah, I think there might be some other children out there that are his, but I don't know that any of these are biologically his.
And maybe deep down that is the issue, is that he knows none of these are likely his.
Yeah.
Tyler apologizes and he's like, I really didn't mean to cause such an issue. I don't know what else to say. And then I wrote, these guys really don't like each other.
No.
And Tyler's like, we should probably work on our relationship for the sake of the family because we kind of keep hitting these bumps, like, and you kind of think Sean's going to say, absolutely. And yet he says, oh, what do you want to do? Go to a play and hold hands?
What? He did something like that last time, right? That was just like, no, nobody's saying that.
Diminishing. I know. He's so rude. And so he shoots him down.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, nobody has time for that. We don't have time. We each have to like take care of our own partners. Well, they each have 2 partners to take care of and 5 kids. So no. So then it goes to scenes from next week, which I actually didn't write down.
We like to be surprised here at Criminality.
Yeah. So we'll right. Exactly. Trust me. It'll be repeated. We'll get to it.
Right.
So that's where we end. They're like, no, we're not going to be better friends. And he's still mad that he's probably, that he's not the baby daddy of Quentin.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like in that moment, Tyler was a good representation of Alicia and why Alicia doesn't want to say anything to Sean, because look how he does that.
I know.
Like, just
I will say, Tyler's not impressing me with how he approached this.
Sure.
I think he could have been firmer, but I do think Sean is intimidating and sucks. And so I understand not wanting to be, but I think if Tyler had like asserted himself a little better and been like, look, I can see in retrospect how you could have received this, but I'm an idiot and didn't know blood type was related to genetics, like Rebekah of the podcast Criminality. I'm not like throwing stones here. Like, I didn't either. But now that I know that, I sure can see your side, and sorry about that, man. Like, he never like super duper clear led with that.
Like
he
had
apologized
a month to figure this out.
Right. It's like, get it together and apologize. I don't think it actually would have changed things because I think Sean is difficult and unreasonable, but I kind of did need Tyler to like be a bit more assertive.
Right.
So, yeah. And I think one thing I forgot to say that I'm just remembering is, it was on a scene for next week. I'll just say this one part. Okay. They all decide like their romantic relationships are kind of dwindling and they need to do a date night. But they like pick names out of a hat. I don't really know. Like, there's only 2 women. I don't know. We only see a clip, but basically Tyler picks Taya and Alicia says, it's really hard for me to see that because I think their connection is super strong, their physical connection. And I think they're more in love with each other than he is with me, which she has brought up the last 2 episodes. So that's like a recurring theme. There were other things, but we'll get to those next week.
Oh my gosh.
That was Who's Your Daddy?
That was Who's Your Daddy. I do not want to read this terrible thing that's from that was on TikTok. It's from the Slightly High Historian, which she covers like I've sent you her videos. She covers sister wives, and now she's covering PolyFamily.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And so
you've curated these for me before.
I do. I'm really trying to fix your algorithm. But this is like a letter from DHS in Oregon referring to Sean. I'm not going to read it because it's allegedly, I mean, it doesn't go into specifics, but it ends with kind of saying, don't think Sean should really be around a bunch of children. So where I'm even more upset is that poor Raina now knows like whatever is going on with Sean, if, who knows? But if you take that away, take what I just said away, Raina knows that her biological father, who she knew as her dad all these years before, the second dad comes in, knows that her dad won't stand up for her. Like, won't say, you know what, we're not doing that. I'm going to go see my kid. Like, this is not a parenting decision that I
hate that. I utterly hate that.
I know. So that kind of broke my heart when I was like, oh my gosh, that's so right. So next week we will have episode 4, which looks to be the one thing I do remember from the trailer was what's her face wanting to maybe talking to somebody on the phone. Taya talking to a girl on the phone, kind of saying she's interested in maybe having a relationship with this friend of hers or something. So we'll see how all of that goes. Taya is the hot commodity in that house, I will say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's doing it.
The center, protagonist, I guess. Things are centered around her for sure. Thanks for everyone who's commented or DM'd us that you're enjoying this, because we are glad to hear that. We really are enjoying it too. It's a fun change of pace for us, and we like the show.
I still have not gone on record saying that in those words.
I am. And
I know.
In what universe did we think that was going to happen? So
yeah. I haven't even watched The Valley yet, so I'm still behind because I needed to watch this. Oh, man. Yeah.
The Valley is crazy.
Love it.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Last night I missed it. So let's go watch that, and we'll be back in a week with another episode of PolyFamily.
Bye.
Bye.
Calling all unstoppable women. Athleta's latest collection is designed for the power of she, made for women, by women. We know that when you move, you create change for yourself and the world around you. That's why our styles are crafted for every way you want to move through life. Our performance wear innovates without sacrificing style, so you feel confident in all the ways you move. Visit athleta.com today and move with confidence.